Yo, yo. What's going on, guys? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday today. That means feedback time. Who's ready for some awesome feedback? Oh yeah, I should probably shout this out. This is Tabernac. They have been an upcoming producer for a long time. I've heard of them for like the past 2 years, and this is like one of their showcases, Infernal Realm. You guys should definitely check it out. This is really sick stuff. So go support them. I'm probably gonna just send a link of this in the chat because it is just sick. Check it out. He's gonna be going places probably. Maybe the next 500 years, he's gonna be doing something, you know. But yeah, check him out. Really cool stuff. And yeah, with TikTok being so silly, the first stream I did on TikTok, I had like 600 likes on my stream, and I had like several thousands of views, and I was like, oh man, wow, this is really helpful. And a lot of the people who did streams, they were like, yeah, I should do TikTok because it's like one of the best for like doing live streams. And I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And it worked, but they have dumb little things they do. They have like little weird requirements for you to stream on the platform. And it's like, it was like you need to show like a face cam at all times, or the other thing was, since I'm streaming on desktop, like I'm not streaming on my phone, they required me to have half of my content, my live stream content, to be gaming, which I don't really understand. Like I don't get that at all. Why can't I just stream my screen? Like, why I'm talking about stuff, everything that you need to see is here. Like I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Doesn't make any sense. I'm just tired of it. They keep suspending me and blacklisting all my stuff. Because it's not in their little requirement. So it's just really annoying. I'm kind of just done with it, unless like there's an easier way. But I've been trying for so long. Yeah. Anyways, okay. Feedback stuff. It is time for the feedback. I know you guys have been waiting. Oh, also, update. Since last time I had to end the stream early, my grandma like fell pretty hard and broke her arm and was like on the ground for 2 days. She went to the hospital and everything. I think she's recovering now. She's doing okay. But yeah, it was a pretty bad scare I had. Like I thought she was gonna die, bro. Usually when stuff like that happens, when an old person falls like that, they don't really recover. But thankfully, she's doing okay. Okay, cool. Let's start off with Kaisel. Kaisel, you are volunteered as tribute. You will now fight for your life. Yeah, I hope so too. She seems to be in high spirits. So that's pretty good. But damn, I could not imagine like laying on the ground for 2 days and not being able to move. That must have been really terrible. Okay, so far so good. Got the flutter. Oh, this is for a room. Is this? Did you show me this before? I think we sent something that was a remix. I might have been thinking of someone else. It's better if you don't change it that much. Yeah. Damn. What was that comment? Okay. I like the strings. The strings are pretty good. And the atmosphere that you have around this is pretty tight. I like it. What's up, Noi? What's up, Felks? I think the rim shot sound could be better here. Yes, you can send a house song as long as you produced it. And you type !point submit. It also says it on the screen. I like this outro. It's spooky and you have a nice little cello at the end. So what did Code Pandorum say about this? What were his thoughts? Because I'm assuming it's for a remix competition, so he was the one that judged them all. So like what did he have to say about this? I'm curious. He said long intro. Subpar mix. Okay. And what else? What else? As you like find that, I'm gonna look up the original because I need to like compare like what you had to work with. Oh, he didn't offer much more than that. Man, this is why I just shouldn't say anything. I just shouldn't say anything. But I feel like you know what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm gonna say, okay? You know what I'm gonna say. The feedback is lacking. He made trap? He made trap? Who is this? This isn't he made trap? What? This is not dubstep. What? I think the choir is like fine. Makes a lot of trap. Am I just like out of the loop with him or something? Because I remember he was like the tear out dubstep guy. Like that's what he was. He's all dude, what? Well, I was a fan of him in like 2011 or something, 2012, around that era. And I think that's like what I think of. So if he makes trap like in the past 3 years, I wouldn't know. But okay, so my thought on like remixing songs like this, it's always gonna be hard when it comes to remixing like rhythm or something that doesn't have melodic, a lot of like melodic structure. The only thing that's melodic in this is the choir, so it's just innately gonna be difficult to remix this. So I mean, from what you did, I think you did a lot. My honest feedback for you is you probably overshot it. That's what I was thinking. Like when the entire time I was hearing this, it's like, okay, you might be trying like too hard, if that makes sense, because I don't think the qualities that you put a lot of effort into, they are good, but I don't think those are the things that stand out to other people. When it comes to like comparing something to something else, uh other people might just, you know, focus on the drop or something. And I feel like you probably just overshot what you wanted, and you like hyper fixated on it being like super producer, what would you say, like super producer like oriented, like something that is meant for producers. So I mean, I'm not Code Pandorum. I don't know exactly why. I kind of agree with the mix from what I said. I think the intro being long, I'm just chalking that up to like attention span. You probably could have cut this out. I think it would have been fine. You could have even moved it to this other section. So the intro could just be long. The thing is though, dude, with intros used to be long. Like the average time to get to the drop, like not even 10 years ago, was like a minute and 30 seconds. Like that was the time it took to get to the drop part of a song. And now it's not even close to that. It's like you get the drop within 40 seconds, like half the time. So I just think everybody's getting brain rot with this. Just want the drop instantly. Okay, what did you say? It seemed to me like that he preferred the ones closer to the original arrangement. To be clear, I asked for feedback as a track, not as a remix. Okay. I know you love long intros. I like building up stuff, but I mean, it's impractical when you think about it. Yes, my grandma's doing okay. She is recovering currently. Okay, mix things. On my notes, I brought up the sub was like too wide. It was like in some part here. Like I can hear the sub panning left and right. It's just not really. It kind of makes me feel weird. I don't know. Oh, and thank you, Horse Meat. Oh, that's a freaky name. Horse Meat. Love it. I never had it. Yeah, and this also made me think of Alan Moore. I'm sure you know him. I probably mentioned it before. I thought it would be a cool effect, but fair. I can get that, but when a sub pans left and right, it feels uncomfortable when you wear headphones. Um, it just does. I mean, I'm okay with wideness, but I think it's a little too wide. Just dial it back a little bit. That'll be fine. Dude, I love Alan Moore. I feel like your inspiration from him is a good influence because he's really good at like world building in his music. The other thing I said that I didn't write down is the snare part could be more noticeable in this section. It kind of takes a back seat in the mix when it could be really harsh and pingy, really out there. Think of like the snares that Noct, no, it's not Noct 2, it's ISO, like his snares. I think like a snare like that would work really well. Just a really reverb, you know, like a really loud reverb, dense, long snare. You almost do it here, but it's just not hitting hard enough. Like here, it hits better. Your sub kind of seems loud on that bass. Like it sounds like the sub is like, it's a louder sub than the actual tonal part, and the tonal part is really lacking, and it sounds like there's something wrong with it. Like you boosted the sub on the bass after the fact or something. But the sub just sounds too loud. I want to hear more of the tone in it. This track just has a lot of sub bass in it already. I mean, it's trap anyways. So just being able to hear the tonal part would be nice. Okay, this part I think was your, I want to say like biggest mistake, but if you haven't been making techno, I guess it's understandable. But let's talk about the theme you're going for here. I mean, okay, someone like got mad at me for saying like I know what you're going for once. I'm going off of what I'm hearing. Like I can see the vision. Okay, I'm not saying I know better than you on what you want, but I feel like there should be more consistency. So this kick is really harsh, has a lot of drive on it. It sounds very synthy. The style you're going for is, it sounds like a more organic feeling track. Like you have the Alan Moore sounds, like slurping, granular stuff, rocks shifting, and you know, like an earthquake happening or something. A really metallic snare, like it sounds like it's a industrial snare being hit. Someone's on like an anvil going, you know, forging, I don't know, a sword to slay a dragon or something. You know what I mean? And then you have this part of, sorry, I'm putting down my keys because they're like gonna fall out of my pants. You know, this part where it's a really synthy sounding kick, it's a complete change in the vibe now. This kick would have been fine if everything else around it sounded like it was gonna be synthy and techno-y. I think if you just went for a more organic kick, it would have just sounded better. I wanted to create a kick from the earthy synth in the first drop, but didn't have enough time to mix that well. So layered the transient from a synth kick. Agreed. Yeah, so I think the transient does influence how it sounds like a lot. The actual low end part of a kick is really just up to how much punch you want in the kick, like how thumpy or punchy or clicky or tight. Like that's usually what the low end is surrounded by. Like if you have a acoustic sounding kick. It's gonna sound more rumbly and flat. Like you're not gonna hear the pitch fall down that much. A synthy kick is gonna have the doo, like it's gonna sound like a sub fall usually. So it's very characteristic in the low end. The transient is also a lot of that too. You kind of hear more synth based kicks in music in general now. Like you almost never hear acoustic kicks ever, unless it's like a purely disco song or goodness, like country music. Like you don't hear natural kicks anymore, like at all. Almost all the kicks you hear now are all synths. They just kind of sound acoustic-y. But like real kicks have very characteristic transients. Like they look up like metal kicks, look up I don't know the names of these kicks, like the box kick. A lot of them have really weird transients, and they sound like that you're knocking on wood almost, like the actual transient part, like a kind of sound. This one has a really flat transient, so the transient is taking up almost all the frequency spectrum. And the dead giveaways as a synthy kick is it having a lot of high end, like really, like the 10k, 10 kilohertz up area. Like real kicks don't ever have that. They usually sit around like maybe 700 hertz for a transient, and that's it. So anyway, I think the kick choice was a complete miss on this part. I think the idea here is good, but it's just the kick is the thing that kind of ruins this part for me. But also, I really like techno. I've been digging it a lot because I love industry sounds where everything sounds really raw. Like I like Topi for that reason. I like Alon Moore for that reason. Everything else I like quite a lot. I think his strings are pretty good. The Topi is amazing. I like the chop snare in this part. It fit pretty well. Okay, I think that cements it for me. Like that sustain, like something is weird happening with the sub. The sub sounds too loud, and it sounds like it's like drowning out the top layer. Like I don't know what you did. It might be an 808 you layered over a sustain or something, and you sorted them together. But the sub is just too loud in whatever bus you're using. They're being distorted together in some way. The distortion's too much, or the sub's too loud. I just know it now. Like it was here and it was in the last drop. So something, it's two trap metal 808s. One has no sub. Yeah, the sub is definitely too loud. I think that's the exact problem. I think it's pretty good though. I think you're ambitious with your writing, which is a good thing, but you need to find a better balance between working on like really cool intros versus like how practical it is. Also think of it as like a time saver. Like you're gonna be spending hours making 8 bars of something, so spend that time wisely. Try to make it not take up so much time for yourself. But still, I like your writing. I think it's just unfortunate. I don't think you should have done this for a remix competition. Remix competitions, you kind of have to like sell your soul a little bit. If that makes sense. You're not really making a remix competition song for yourself. You're making it to win the competition. And also, to be blunt, when people ask for remixes, they kind of just want to play it out as like a double or something. That's usually what they have the intentions for. in my remix competition I did for Marionette, I was just purely judging off of like how much I liked the song. I wasn't really thinking about playing it out, but a lot of people like thinking about playing it out. But yeah, I just know hugely likes my style, and we even have a collab on the works. I guess I overshot it. I would say this one, yeah, you overshot it, just a bit. I still appreciate it a lot. I can see the value you put in. Everything sounds nice. It just needs more balance. But if you have if you have like a collab in the works with him, that's huge. I don't know if he is like open about that, but I think it's really cool. I'm glad to hear it. Everybody on my Patreon is going places, man. Like I see so many people that submit songs to me, and then a month later I'll see them in like a compilation or something, or they'll be collabing with a bigger artist, and it's like, oh my gosh, dude, people are crazy. Dude, am I doing too much? Should I dumb down my Patreon? Are you going places, Agony? Not publicly. I mean, I am publicly, I guess, but a lot of stuff I'm doing are behind the scenes. How would you go about asking people for collabs? Okay, this is a good question. I like this one. When asking someone or sorry, I should rephrase that. When asking for a collab with someone, if you have someone in mind that you think would be cool to work with, and usually when you're thinking about that, you're thinking like a bigger artist, someone that you admire in some way. I'm gonna assume that's kind of what you're going for. You should approach them and say, hey, I think we should work together. I have an idea. I want to work on this thing with you. You have to be careful with how you're wording it, because you don't want to burden them with a lot of work. You should take the initiative and say, like, I have this thing already. I have this song that I want to do with you. Like, approaching someone and saying, let's start from scratch, won't usually work, because the person thinks, oh, well, I have to start a whole new song and it's going to take hours out of my day. Whereas opposed, if they have something already for you, then they'll be more inclined, like, oh, he already has an idea down, I don't have to add that much else. And also, like, emphasizing that you're responding very quickly, that you can do a lot of the work. You don't have to say that you're going to be doing most of the work, but that you won't be a burden is what I'm saying. Like, you want to make it seem like you really are helping him out in this song. And also, this is kind of the unspoken thing, but your media presence does matter. If you play a lot of shows, if you do a lot of tours, if you have a lot of followers, it's going to be really easy for someone to notice you. If you're someone that doesn't have a lot of presence online or has been recognized by a lot of people, then your odds are probably going to be less so. You almost never get a collab based off of your content alone. You will get it sometimes and be really lucky, but most of the time it's not the case, and you have to approach it like that. Also build up to it. If there's someone in mind that you want to have a collab with, meet the people that are around them. Have a talk with their mutuals, even collab with the mutuals, and then you'll be someone around in that area, like their friend group or something, and then they'll be like, oh, this guy's cool. I like hanging out with this guy. He makes cool music. Yeah, I'll collab with him. People collab off of like friendships. More than not, you'll be more successful that way. Anyways, that's my little 2 cents. A lot of people in the industry also just feel like, yeah, oh yeah, I'll collab with you. Like, you're a friend. If you're a friend with someone, like, you're definitely gonna have a better chance. That's the best chance you can have, is like being a friend. But don't be going around discords and being like, hi, I want to be your best friend. Hey, you wanna go out? Wanna go on a date? Like, it's got to be natural. Yo, Kaiwachi. Yo, Kaiwachi, I think you're really cool, man. You want to hang out? We'll play some video games? Probably. Haha. Oh my goodness. Oh, if H just said to not play his until he got home. I don't know if he's home yet. So, but he wanted me to play it when he gets home. So let's do meat. Easy Twitch clip. I know, nerd farming clips up in here. Okay. That's really loud. I'm still typing, bro. Okay, I'm gonna rewind it real quick. Okay, I have quite a bit of notes for this. Okay, I'll just go through them all. Really loud intro. Please turn down. Just turn it down. I don't think you should open this and then it just be a scream. Like, that's too fucking loud. Pardon my language. That's just too loud. I think everybody can agree with that. The screen bass is super noisy. There's a lot of high end and just noise. It's just super harsh on the ears. And I know this is like kind of like a fake out area, but it is just too loud for my liking. Put some filters on it, have a low pass that opens up or something, or make it have like a radio filter. You could also just reverb it. Like, there's a lot of options you could have here that can take away the harshness of it, but also leave it open to expanding in the drop and having a lot of impact on the drop. In this part, just your basses are just really harsh. This screen bass is just too harsh. Like, even if it didn't have all that stuff. The gun bass you have is like all the way over here. You're like trying to do a fake out, but it's okay. Honestly, it's half-assed. Let's be real. The filter is not really doing much. Like, you're cutting like the very low sub and kind of cutting the highs. Like, it needs to be filtered way more. And it's also like super wide in stereo. You don't want to be wide in stereo either. So you're doing two things wrong. You're not cutting it enough to where you're taking out the energetic elements, the sub and the highs. You're not cutting those out, so you still have those, and that makes the impact of the drop not impactful anymore. And it's still really wide, so it's gonna sound like it's really big and surrounding you, which is not good for a fake out either, because you want the drop to be the big thing around you, filling up all this space and sounding like a monster is screaming at you. You don't want it to have that energy already released in the fake out. You want to hit on the downbeat. Your gun base is muddy and has little movement. I'm more so talking about the sub in this a little bit. I can hear your transient pretty clearly, but it's just also a distorted mess. Like it's very messy. Uh, I can barely make out what rhythm you're having here. So it needs some kind of filtering, some kind of envelope that either automates the volume or, like I said, a filter that goes down, or it's just something. It needs to be shorter in some way. It's just too loud and messy, like straight up. And also, I think it might be bleeding into the other notes. Like one note hits, and then it just keeps playing, even though one's hit, and it stacks over each other over and over and over, and the whole thing just becomes a distorted mess. Your gun base is muddy because there's a lot of low mid frequency happening. It doesn't matter a lot of times, but in this case, like your sub is, you just can't hear it. You can't actually hear the sub. It is all like the harmonics above the sub that you're hearing, which is never ever good. You want the lowest harmonic to be loud. That's what makes you feel like everything's hitting your chest, like it's in your body, it's moving everything. And it sounds really intense. Like anything higher than what, like 60 hertz or something, that like gives you a headache. Like that is the frequency that resonates with your brain and shakes it, and you don't feel good. That's why people usually cut it. That's why people do scoops. It's because it hurts your it hurts your head. So I just think it's too prominent in this. If you have a dedicated sub, turn it up. If you have the sub already built into the base, then just boost the fundamental. Have some kind of sine wave or something that just comes in. If you're using Serum 2 or Faceplant, you could literally just add a sub into it and have it mixed with all the effects and everything and come out clean. You can do that too. You can do a direct out sub, and that way you don't have the hassle of you like mixing a dedicated sub yourself, and it all fits in phases. Everything is nice. Make sure you have the randomness set to 0 and all that stuff. Okay. And the cymbals are really drowned. Where are the cymbals? I don't hear them. You said it was 60 hertz. That's kind of like an estimate, like 66, 7. I'm yeah, anything above 60 is like kind of getting to headache territory. In like the context of the popular sub bases being from like D, low D to maybe F sharp. I think people still use F sharp sometimes. I don't think it's that popular anymore, but around that range was like the most popular areas for a sub bass to be. And that goes up to about 60 hertz. Like anything higher than 60 hertz is most likely going to be your second or third harmonic. And if those second or third harmonics are too loud, it's going to give you a headache, or it's going to take away the impact of the first harmonic. You want the first harmonic to stand out the most, like always, almost every single time you want the first to stand out the most. So yeah, anything around that area, maybe more 70 hertz, I guess. I don't know what F sharp would be, but that's just my estimation. Okay, back to the cymbals. Okay, where are the cymbals? I hear the kick. I hear the kick with the white noise. I hear the snare with the white noise. I hear the bass with the white noise. It's too much noise. There's no clarity in your mix. Your cymbals are drowned out. I hear just a little bit of the cymbal coming halfway. I can, like, what cymbal even is that? Is that a china? Is that a ride? Is that a crash? Is that a hi-hat? What is that? I don't know. Is that tambourine? Is that a shaker? I don't know, because there's so much noise in this mix. Everything sounds noisy and everything sounds bright. Everything sounds harsh. I just hear, it just sounds like more irritating. Like you could have literally gotten an EQ and did an automation clip to bring up the noise where the hi-hat plays, and I wouldn't be able to tell. Like it's just noise. It's just louder noise. So have some actual clarity in your mix, please. Okay, snare fundamental is too loud. That's just simply true. A snare going doo. You don't want to hear a snare go doo because it sounds goofy and it just sounds like a mistake. Like that's what happens when you put distortion on your snare all the way. I think it's distorting in your master more so. So your master is also just too loud. That's another thing I mentioned. Master is way too loud. Turn it down, please. Thank you. Your snare. Uh, I have a feeling that you did the silly. You got an EQ and you boosted the fundamental of the snare because you are the silly. Don't do that, please. If your snare is already sounding really doo, Homer Simpson doo, get a different snare. Your snare should be clean. There shouldn't be too much distortion. It shouldn't have a ton of distortion on it. You shouldn't need distortion. A good snare will sound snappy, beefy without the use of distortion. That's how you know you have a good mix in the first place. And also, the same thing with your kick, kind of. Your kick is a little bit more nuanced because it depends on like the low end and the harmonic content of your low end. It's a little bit different, but your snare should almost have no effects on it at all. Maybe like a reverb here or like a slight boost EQ here and there, but nothing huge. You don't want to do a lot to it. Okay. The snare tail. Like your snare tail, it's kind of the same thing with your cymbals. Your snare tail is, I can't really hear it. All I hear is the doo. And your snare tail is just like, huh. Like, hi, I'm here. Yeah. Like I said, the master's too loud. Fun fact, if you just turn up the high end all the way to like plus 30 decibels on just the high end, you're gonna have a loud mix. Isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy that if you turn up all the high end, it'll hurt your ears too? That's just a coincidence, right? A loud mix does not mean it's good. Please turn everything down. Focus on having clean transients, a dynamic mix. Dynamic mix. You want to hear all the elements in their own little space. They all sound like they're part of the same mix, like they're mixed together, they're glued together, but you don't want to smash them all together because you're ruining it. You're ruining all of it. And you're also making it harder for yourself. It's not only just bad for the listener experience, it's harder on yourself because when everything is loud, nothing is loud. So then you lose control over what elements you want to be the loudest because you're going to be playing a game of like stacks. Like one thing's going to be loud. You want this other element to be loud too. And so what do? You turn it up. And then the next part of your song, oh, the sound I just made is quiet. I'm going to turn that up even more. And so you just go higher and higher. You're building up and then everything's way too loud. Please, just turn it all down. Literally, I recommend go onto your master chain, get like a little gain utility thing, turn it down, say like 15 decibels, turn it down negative 15 decibels, and try to work from there. This is the advice I give to everyone that has mastering problems. You want your mix to sound like it's already mastered. Before even touching a limiter or anything on your master, get your hands away from it. Focus on the mix. If you can make your mix sound really big and beefy, then you did a great job, okay? So take all that advice, please. Last thing I have to say is the drop is just too much of bass, okay? This sounds like a demo for a bass sample pack. It doesn't sound like a lot of musical parts are in this at all. It just sounds like bass, 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 drum, bass, 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 drum, bass, bass, bass. There's no melodic components to it. There's no tension. There's no pushing, pulling. There's no call or response. It is just bass, 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 bass all day long, nothing else. There needs to be a hook, there needs to be a motif, there needs to be identity to this. You need to convince the listener why they should listen to your songs instead of someone else. That's what you need to be focusing on. Like, why should I listen to this instead of, I don't know, Phase One or something, or Company? Like, why can you tell me why I should listen to your song than theirs? Like genuinely think about that. Like what makes their song so listenable and re-listenable as opposed to yours? Interesting. I never actually touched the master mixer slider. It doesn't matter if, well, I don't even know what you mean. The master mixer slider? Like, I'm not saying to turn it down on the slider. I'm saying get a utility on the master mix. I don't know what you're using. Honestly, I don't know if you're using like FL or Reaper or Ableton. Uh, in terms of like FL Studio, you can just get like Fruity Balance or something and just turn it down as like an effect, not the actual slider, like an effect in the master before the limiter and all that stuff. For Ableton, I think you can do the same. I think you can just turn down everything by 10 decibels without touching the fader. Don't touch the master fader. You should leave that alone. It should always be at 0 decibels. So just leave that be. I'm just saying, like, get a utility to do it instead of turning the actual fader down. Because when you turn the fader down, that's like the final output volume. It's not going to change the dynamics of your song. So that's all the feedback I have for you. Thank you for submitting me. Hope that was helpful. I apologize to you, Aphasia. I didn't know you were here. So, but now you're here, and I will give feedback on you now. Most at Body Bag Aphasia remix. Sweet, let's get into it. Kind of like those fill drums. It sound like really dry, but I like that they're really dry. Kind of reminds me of like Culprit stuff. Ah, of course. Ooh, I like this. Wait, the second drop is fire. Okay, nice. I definitely liked it more over time. The first drop, uh, I didn't really like a lot. It sounded really random. The rhythms, there wasn't like a cohesive uh rhythm I could like jive to. It was just like it sounds kind of like the old school dubstep thing they used to have like a lot back then, where just play like crazy rhythms. It's not really a style anymore. You want something that like is more repeatable, that has a flow to it. So don't be afraid to make it more basic. I think you might be overthinking the rhythm of it. I think your biggest flaw in this song, this is more of a general statement, but your intro writing, your writing outside the drops could be a lot better. They sound just really lackluster. You have your basic synths playing around the root note or like the fifth or something. They're not really progressing a melody. They're not like, you have vocals here. Vocals are the best thing you can have to write something around. But you're not doing anything to complement the vocals. The vocals are just kind of doing their own thing, it seems. I just think your writing could be a lot better overall. I like this section you're doing with the build up. The kick kind of comes in. The only mistake I can feel here is that the low end of the kick makes the low end really muddy in this build up. I think if you just had the kick like high past at, I don't know, like 80 hertz or something, and still had it like build up, I think that would be nice. Or, I mean, actually the other way you could do it is just make them shorter. If you cut the kick to be shorter, the lower frequencies at the end of the kick wouldn't even be heard anyway. So just make the kick in the build up shorter, and it'll just sound thumpier, and it won't clash with the low end of the other Reese that's on this build up. So it still sound thumpy, but then you'd have the low end there still. So I think it would be good. I think I had a sub drop and impact playing at the same time, and they're clashing. Probably. Just make sure they don't overlap or something. Yeah, I think this first drop, you need to completely redo it. I don't like the bass design either. I don't like the rhythm you have here. The arrangement is kind of just weird. I would instead go for the second. This section here is pretty good. So just replace it there. Rewrite this entire first part and just move it to be after this part. Same comments about this as the intro. It just feels like filler melodies, like pad, you know, your bass, you have the synths playing around the root and the fifth. Yeah, it's not really progression again. There's nothing interesting you're doing with the melodies. Just add some spice or something. If you're still working on this song, add some spice in these melodic parts. Make them. There's gotta be something that jumps out at me, because it just sounds like a regular melody loop with a vocal over it. I like this part a lot. I think the drum sounds just are really nice, really dynamic, snappy. The only thing I have to comment on is the sub bass on these basses are just too loud. They're like actually ducking the sounds around them. So if you can undo that and make them not drowned out and muddy, be good. Also, I like the sound of the top end you have. So if you just turn that up, that would sound good anyways. That's all the big I have for you. So thank you, Aphasia, for submitting. huge W from you. Okay, let's go on to the free submissions. If you are not a member, you will be next. And we have Burrito. Also, if you are a member, if you submit now, you can skip the line. Chat. Ooh. Nice. That's pretty cool. I definitely feel like this is more of a generic song. It sounds like a lot of other Tear Out songs, being blunt. So the arrangement is a lot of the same as other songs. The sound design's pretty nice. I like it. It's just not pushing any boundaries. I think you should be aware of that. If your plan is to like grow as an artist, I think eventually getting into different types of sounds or arrangements would benefit you more, like pushing other boundaries. But you say you've been producing for 1 year, so for 1 year, this is pretty good. I think getting your talents down with arrangements and mixing are definitely something you should prioritize, because those are like the foundational parts of music, and experimentation can come later. But don't expect to like get a big hit or anything from this. I don't mean that to sound mean, but you're trying to learn still, and trying to get everything done, which is as fine. That's what I did in the first few years I was doing music. I didn't really expect to make it big or anything, but it's just a more generic song. Eventually, try to get out of your comfort zone and learn something that you never have done before. I usually suggest, if you're new, try making other genres. That usually helps with writing, melodic structures, and learning how to use other rhythms. Tear Out is very rhythm dependent, but it also doesn't teach you that well with how important of an instrument silence is, because in Tear Out, everything's loud, everything's present at all times. There's like no downtime. If you go to other instruments or genres, sorry, I didn't mean to say instruments, but other genres, they have a lot more downtime. They're a lot more subtle with their rhythms. I think learning and picking up subtlety would help. So try something that uh you're not familiar with. I think that'd be pretty fun for you just as a learning experience, and you would actually take something from it. Onto like the actual things that are wrong with this track. The gun, I think your gun basses are pretty inconsistent, because this gun bass here sounds really weird. But this one sounds better. Like this one sounds like there's a ton of OTT on it and like it's being ducked like crazy. There's also no transient on here. I think you should have something to make them more cohesive. It could be something like a separate track or VST that has like a transient sound on it, and you just put it on all of your gun basses so they sound more like the same. But it's definitely just missing a transient. The biggest thing that I hear is wrong with your song is your sub bass. Your sub bass is super inconsistent. At one point, the sub bass is really muddy. The other time, there is a decent amount of sub. And then the next section, the sub is like wide or something. At this point, just try to have the dedicated sub on your mix. So that way the sub is the same volume, has the same pitch bend, envelope, has the same timbre, everything. And so it's just consistent. And then everything else, all your gun bass layers can just be high passed. I think that would make it just a lot easier for you. And then once you get better at sound designing and like applying an actual sub to your stuff, then you can kind of use the knowledge you had with your dedicated sub bass and apply it to your sound design. And you said loud but dynamic mixes. I think you did a pretty decent job with keeping the mix dynamic. The only thing I would say is that your drums are probably a little too loud, and mixing your cymbals and other instruments, I think could be staged better. Like your cymbals are pretty quiet and they're not really present that much. Your background layers, I think, are okay. Like right here, your sub is terrible here. Like I just hear the harmonics of the sub. I don't hear the actual sub. So go do that. Have a dedicated sub. I think it would help you a lot. Gun creation techniques. Well, I gave a little bit of it just now. Just have like a strong transient. It could be something like white noise. It could be the transient of a kick. It could be just like a sample of something metallic even. Secret sauce. You want some secret sauce, dude? The secret sauce is really just disperser. That's like the secret sauce of Tear Out is disperser. Disperser and the bias in distortion. So like if you're using any distortion plugin, there's probably an asymmetrical option or a bias option. That really just means that one part of the waveform is going to get more distorted than the other one. Using those adds a lot of grit to your basses and makes it really crunchy. So you could definitely try using that. Those are also good sauce. And if you put the bias and disperser on top of each other in the same group, then you got like a gritty, bubbly, weird, phasey thing where it sounds gritty, but also like not distorted. Like it just sounds gritty. So yeah, thank you for submitting, Burrito. Hope that helps. Dude, all this talking. I'm talking too much. Okay, next up. This is the house song guy. Super wide saw like Nimda. Use reverb. Have a reverb bus. Link your guns and stuff to that bus. You got a wide mix.
125 and I move with the friction.
Look up how to make a reverb bus.
Earbuds flying, can't stop this mission. Hey, arch sweat clockwise, don't work mad like I'm dancing with tension. Hey, arch sweat, hey, word in my mirrors, I blur the dimension.
Is the house guy even here still?
25 and I move with the friction. Hey, arch sweat, hey, earbuds flying, can't stop this mission. Hey,
I do feel like on all genres, as long as you produced it.
arch sweat, hey, word in my mirrors, I blur the dimension. Hey, arch sweat clockwise, clockwise, clockwise.
Ooh, the low end is really rumbly. Oh, I do not like that synth. That synth sucks. Oh? What are we doing? Ooh. I don't know about that rave generator synth. I like the vocals. Okay. I like the vibes. Vibes are up. It's a house song, so like you're gonna have a lot of repetitiveness. Yeah, touch that bass for 1 second, never heard again. I know, it's kind of wanting it to come and do something cool, you know? I was expecting it to be like on the downbeat. Like blank stomp on dog stomp on stomp on dog stomp blank. Okay, feedback. Your low end is pretty messy. I think it might be because your sidechain at the bass is not good. Like you're sidechaining it. You're doing the sidechain thing, okay? But the way you're sidechaining is not working, and it's not leaving room for your sub bass to come through and for your kick to also punch through. So there's some kind of bow tying effect happening where your sidechain is either too long. I very much doubt it's too long, but your sidechain is too long to where the sub bass has a dip between the transition of the kick and the sub bass coming in from the sidechain, or your sidechain is too short where the low end of your kick is phase canceling with the sub bass you have in the song. And so it's making this bow tie effect where in the middle between the transition of the kick and the bass, there's phase cancellation and it looks like a wobbled mess. It also just might be like the layers you're having too, but I'm pretty sure it's the sidechain that you have is just too messy. Also, do not sidechain vocals almost ever. If you do sidechain the vocals, make them really, really small, very small, maybe solely for the pumping effect, but almost never ever sidechain vocals. It never helps you. it doesn't make the song better. Like, the only way I could imagine you getting away with it is if like something very specific happens. But that's just my general advice. Just don't ever sidechain vocals, please. Yeah, like I don't like the synth at all. And you have this random breakbeat section. I don't like this. It sounds generic. Like I don't want to be mean, man. It's just not good. Not good. It sounds like, it just sounds so generic. It's like, It's so uninteresting. Just literally cut this entire part out. This little synth, this breakbeat section, just cut it all out, please. I think the high pitch synth is really cool. I like that a lot. But then you have this rave gen synth where it's like and it's pitching down a lot. Like you have a melodic layer that is consistent. It's not doing any pitch bend movement or vibrato or tape stop effect or anything. It's just a straight note, monotone note. And then you have this rave gen synth that's going and it's pitching down. It's making it dissonant and it's completely ruining it. Swap out the synth you have. Whatever rave gen preset you have, swap it out. Have something that doesn't do that pitch down effect. If you're gonna do a pitch down effect, do it on both of them and do it occasionally, not on every single note. Yeah, that's all I have to say for that, man. Yeah, so you're gonna treat. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to look at what you said. You want feedback on song structure? Okay, well, I wish I saw that before I commented, because I could have just said cut this thing out and call it a day. But that's my feedback for song structure. Cut that entire section out. Thank you for submitting. All right, we got Felx Lamp. You submitted a Discord link? Why did you submit a Discord link? Did you mean to submit a Discord link? What is this? Yeah, you submitted a Discord link. Oh my gosh, that's funny. What even is it? It's like a server? It's a Discord link to my own server. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, submit a new link and I'll look at it. Ba, 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 ba. Shoot, dude. It's too dark in here. I need to turn on light. I like turned around, it's pitch black, like there's a monster probably waiting for me. I'm gonna turn a lamp on. I'll be back. Okay, lamp on. Lamp. Whoa. Ooh. I like this part. Dude, why am I such a sucker for drum and bass stuff? That's a good little effect you did. I like the little duck and audio you did in this section. That's pretty cool. I like that. That reminds me of like an old Savant song where you just turned down the master volume all the way and then brought it back. Battle Bus. Oh my gosh. I did not hear the Battle Bus. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait. No, if I talk about this, I think someone will be upset at me. I'll be really vague, okay? I know someone that got access to a lot of accounts when a data breach happened on SoundCloud. And said person would log into these accounts that he found. There's a lot of people that were affected. Like there's over like 24, I think, that he did this on, of like artists. I think a lot of them didn't even notice still. But he would take their songs and add the battle bus, the Fortnite battle bus sound in like random parts of the song. And they went through the trouble of like tuning it in key with the song, and it fit way too well. Like you barely noticed it, but it's there. He also did this with like a bunch of other samples. I think like the Fortnite chest sound he just snuck in. Yeah, in Minecraft. Okay, so you know, oh my gosh. I'm not gonna say who or anything or give information because I don't want to be involved in any drama. But I know about it, okay? But it was hilarious. It was the funniest thing ever. Just going through all these like artist songs and hearing that these sound effects is hilarious. Okay. Sorry. Back to feedback time. I think what did you even like ask for? I think I deleted your last submission where you had the Discord link, so I don't even know what you asked for. Okay, so mixing, mastering sounds. Okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna lie, usually I'm good with drops, but I'm unsure how to make it hit more if you got any tips. Yeah, of course, I have tips all day long. Let's start from like the beginning, kind of linear through the first part of the song. I think your mixing is the biggest problem here. I think the way you're writing the song is good. I think the progression is good. Like everything they have in here is pretty cohesive melodically. It's not cohesive as far as the mix. The mix is really messy. So you have a lot of instruments playing, and you're making it hard for yourself by making this kind of music and not making just rhythm where you have like 2 layers and you just gotta mix them together. If you have anything more than 3 layers, you have to actually think, and you have to put your little brain on. You got a little light switch. So mixing is definitely harder. So if you have a bunch of layers that are occupying the same range, they're all going to be fighting for attention. Mids are where melodic parts usually sit, so like leads and chords and pads. The only thing that doesn't really sit in that range are like sub basses or like really high pitched arps, but almost everything sits in the mids. So the mids are just a mess usually when you have a lot of layers, because they're all just sitting in the mids. Wow, who could have thought? So you have to play this game of tug of war with layers. What layers do you want to be the loudest part, and which layers are going to be supporting elements, things that harmonize well or don't take away from the layer you have that you want to be the loudest. So starting from here, I think the mixing is okay, and that's just simply because you don't have a lot of layers in yet. You have an ARP that's kind of playing really high. You have your sub bass, which is playing low, and then you have what else, like you just have like some random, ambient stuff in the mids. So it's not that bad. The thing I don't like about it though is the main bass in this intro is just messy sounding. Like the sound design is just messy. Whatever you use to make that bass, I'll just say revisit it, because it is needlessly bright and crunchy. I think a more simple bass, even just like a sawtooth sound or like a simple FM thing, I think that would be more practical in here and would free up space in the mids, because this bass is taking up mids now. You're making this more like a mid bright bass. Those basses usually sit front and center. If you just eliminate having any mids or highs that much, then you just simply alleviate the problem. So you could simply just do that. Also, I just think your subharmonics, like your third and fifth harmonic in the sub, are a little too loud. Let the fundamental be the one that's the loudest. Yeah, you can definitely hear it. Like the harmonics are just way too loud, the overtones. Everything here is fine. So you have like these little ear candy things, these granular, I guess you would say. They're sitting in the high end because they're just so high pitched. And then like your main ARP is sitting in the mids. And you have like a really clean low end 808 thing. So it's leaving the mids free. So this part is like the cleanest part of your mix, like by far. And you can kind of see, you can understand why. Like you don't have a lot of stuff competing. Like the elements are all fitting nicely together, and you probably don't even understand why it fits well, but hopefully now you do. They all sit really well here. I think this build-up is fine. I think you could have more emphasis on the drums, because the drums are the thing that are giving the build-up more tension, like something big is going to happen, and then making it faster. Just building up the energy in general. The drums are doing most of the work, so I make the drums more prominent in this build-up. Switch. This part, you're doing like a fake-out thing that like rhythm and turbo people do, like I do. Switch. You should make it more obvious that it's a fake out, and that would be something like making it really mono or high passing or low passing it. I think like a low pass would work better. Like it fades in or automates upwards, so it goes like, something like that. I think would make it more obvious that it's like a fake out, because it's not obvious, and then you're like, oh, this kind of sucks. Like this. Switch. This drop is really underwhelming. But then like the actual downbeat happens here, And it kind of stays the same, which I don't know if you meant for this to be a pre-drop actually, but that's what it sounds like to me. First things first, your kick is just kind of quiet, which is a rare thing. I don't think people usually make their kicks too quiet, but it's just quiet in a section. And your basses, okay? Your basses, you're doing... I think you should commit to the fake out thing, because I think it sounds cool. Your sub bass is like an octave up. You're doing the thing goes like dun 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 dun. I think I don't know, I'm torn on that. By having it go an octave up, you're just making it even more complicated than it just being, you know, at the sub level. Because it's now occupying more of the mids. The overtones are occupying more of the mids, which I talked about earlier. That's where all your melodic parts are, and it is just making it more messy for you. And this psytrance part sounds better because the bass is in the low end. So it's sitting more, it sounds cleaner. So in this part, think about what elements you want to stand out, because it sounds like everything's competing for each other. And there's not like a melody happening in this part. I just hear like a granular pad, some kind of vocal, some arp, and they're all going like all at the same time. There's no space for any of them. Like it would be one thing if one element came in like 4 bars later and, you know, took its spot. And it would be another thing if like the element was higher pitched, but they're all the same region, they're all playing at the same time. You're not dividing attention equally to all of them properly. So think about which one you want to be like the main thing. It could be the vocal, it could be the pad, but anything else that is not that, turn that down, or more of the complicated mixing thing. Whatever you choose to be like your main element, your main melodic element, look at where the dominant frequencies are, or like where the characteristics are. If it is a vocal, that's gonna be around where the overtones are in the vocal. So not the fundamental harmonic, or harmonic. So not the fundamental harmonic of the vocal, but just above it is where those vocals are prominently sitting at. So that part is the characteristic part you want to stand out. That's where like you hear the valleyness, as well as like the high end. The high end of the vocal, I think, is less contested, so it's not really a big deal. But above the fundamental is where like you perceive words and vowels, so it makes it more clearer to you. But you don't want to be too loud to where it sounds nasally either. If it is a pad, pads, you should just simply boost either the fundamental, so where the chord notes actually are, or somewhere in the mid highs. Just because if you boost the fundamentals of the chords, like the mids, it just will sound really like forward in front. You kind of want those elements to sit a bit further back. For ARPs, I think the only way you can really have an ARP stand out is if it's the mids that are boosted. So if it's not either of those or any of those that are selected, do the opposite. So like the vocal, if you want the vocal to be more in the background, then cut where it's above the fundamental. You can cut that range. You can cut the high mids on the pad if you want to stand out less. So just base your decisions around that. It should clear up the mids. Also, simply, you could also bus all of them together and then scoop it. So like cut out some mids so that it's not so dominant. And then you could boost the highs or whatever. Another thing too is utilizing your stereo field better. Not everything should be really wide, not everything should be mono. There should be some elements that are wide, some of them that are more mono. You kind of do a little bit on this with panning. Panning is an interesting way to use it, but it shouldn't be on all of them. I'm sure you know that, but think about your stereo space in other ways. And also, reverb is your best friend when it comes to mixing. Reverb makes you feel like some elements are more in the background, and things that aren't reverbed feel like they're more in the foreground, like they're in your face. Also, all your elements sound really separated. They don't sound like they're all part of the same structure. It sounds like they're all kind of doing their own thing, and that's what I'm saying. You should section your instruments out better. Like have an A section, have a B section, a call and response, because it sounds like all of your elements are playing at the same time at all times, doing the same like rhythms but different motions, so it just makes it sound really chaotic. I think that's... Oh, and also just your sub. You need to turn to sub more. But yeah, I think that's it for my feedback for you. So thank you for submitting. All right. Okay, moving on.
This is an emergency broadcast.
Thank you.
Earlier tonight, an unregistered aerial event was detected in a remote area. The situation is contained. There is no threat to public safety. Residents may have experienced brief signal interference or unusual vibrations. These effects were temporary. No public response is required. This message will not be repeated.
Nice. I'm still typing.
Experienced brief signal interference or unusual.
This is, yeah, Space Laces. You definitely went for the Space Laces effect.
Area. The secure vibe temporary. No public response is required. This message will not be repeated.
I think your arrangement is okay. It's the most okay part of this. Your sound design just needs more work. You try to go for the crunchy parts, but it's not working. I feel like you kind of just scoop the mids too much, and now you don't have any mids, and it's just the high end being really harsh and distorted. Like, these rhythms that you're playing aren't that clear, and it's the sound design that's making you do that. Your sound design is making it messy. Your drums are also really messy too. I think you're layering your drums, but your snare sounds like there's two snares on top of it, or like a clap, and it sounds like the like punchy part of the snare is clashing with the clap or whatever layer you have on top. It could also just be like it's a horrible sample. Maybe it's one sample and it just sounds horrible. Your kick just doesn't fit either. Your kick is too like mid heavy. You need a kick that's more thumpy and low energy. And your sidechain needs work too. Like your kick sometimes, I think it plays, but then there's like no sidechain. I don't know. Like I swear your kick is playing as like an offbeat or something, but there's no sidechain on it. I'm like confused on that. Yeah, I just think your kick is generic sounding as well. It just sounds weird. Okay, so that's really all I have for you. I think your song structure is fine. Your mastering is actually pretty decent, but that's not really counting like the EQ as that, unless you like did some crazy EQ on the master. I think your mastering's okay. I don't hear any wild clipping or really weird like balancing issues. I think your sub's just a little too loud. It sounds like it's dominating the mix, and whenever the sub plays, the limiter cuts everything down. It just makes the whole song quieter. Your mixing, I think, needs the most work because you have almost no mids, and the mids are what glue the low end and the high end together. That's what makes them sound good. If you cut all the mids, you're not gonna have any of that. It's not gonna sound like as any body, which is what it is now. Like it is just, I just hear high end. I just hear high end, and that's it. Like these basses might as well just be cymbals. But yeah, work on your sound design, work on your mixing. I think that's all. So thank you for submitting. Huge dub. And honestly, you're like actually taking on like the hardest thing to do in EDM, which is making spaceless sounds. Like Spaceless is the hardest. Okay, nice. Spaceless is the hardest sound to get right. Like I think you would have a lot easier time doing literally any other style than doing Spaceless. Like I struggle doing Spaceless stuff. Like it's not easy. Lots of heavy dubstep is way too scooped. Yes, correct. Got zeroed. That snare sounds like someone beatboxing. That sounds like a beatbox snare. Does it not sound like a beatbox snare? Am I tripping? Be real. Okay. A good trick to check RGB waveform in Rekordbox. If it's all red and blue, probably lacking mids. Yeah, I would. I mean, I don't look at Rekordbox that much, but probably true. Okay. This bass is way too messy. This is in the intro. This is a full spectrum bass, and it just sounds like it's like you can just not have it be so chaotic. You could just low pass this and it would be fine. Low pass in the intro. Or just have a different bass sound. Like, I just don't think this is the type of bass you would use to have a melodic part. Like, this bass is doing a melody and it's going bang, 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 bang. The sound design just doesn't work either. When I was listening to this entire song, when I was listening to this entire thing, the thing I noticed is your formants are really high. Like, they sound almost nasally, like it sounds like a little goblin with a really high pitched voice is like trying to do a deep voice, if that makes sense. I don't know what I'm saying, but the formants are really high, and it just sounds really nasally sound design. That has to do with the way you're shaping it with filters, probably. If you have really high pitch FM, it can do that too. What other things? The waveform you're using to FM, I think you're using FM for this bass, but the waveforms you're actually using, make sure they don't have like a lot of high end harmonics. Generally, having the high harmonics, like really high pitch harmonics when FMing, make it sound really messy. Oh gosh, why is Restream okay? Dude, my chat's all messed up now. Oh my days. I just can't have fun anymore, dude. I just can't. Like, I actually. Oh. Bro, hello? Am I still streaming? Why? Okay. All right, man. Cool. I love when it does that. That's never happened to me, but it just like said everything shut down. Oh, now it's back. Okay. Whatever, man. Whatever. Let's just go through this. I forgot what I was saying even. I was saying the formats are too high. Oh, all my messages are gone. What did it say? Would it bother you if I resubmitted one from last week? It was when you had to get off stream and feedback was a bit fast. Sure. Yeah, I can review that one. So like, oh yeah, that's what I was saying. FM. If you're FMing with something that has a lot of high harmonics, like a lot of noise in it, it's gonna sound pretty bad. That's why I usually stick to like FMing basic shapes, because they have pretty stable harmonics in phases, so they don't sound super noisy when I do FM or something. You can stick with more basic shapes that aren't noisy looking, and that should help. Getting a low formant is just kind of difficult. It's really easy to get a high formant. Whenever you use like lower cutoffs, it just makes the bass more messy in the low end than just the highs. So there's like a trade-off in that. And you can usually circumvent that with having a dedicated sub, or like having the filter only affect the highs or something. But it's just kind of hard. It's something you have to learn to do with sound design. And that's just too noisy. Like, there's too much high end in that. Your drop sounds pretty good, but your kick is too loud. I think your sub is also just kind of too loud too. Like, yeah, it's just too loud. That's straight up a beatbox. You can't convince me otherwise. I haven't beatboxed in a long time. I'm sorry. You had to hear that. Okay, well, moving on. Thank you for submitting Zeroed. Hope that helps. We have Neo Chrono next. Neo Chrono. Damn, dude. It's sick. Dying. I like the sounds on a lot. Bro, I love this. Absolutely bonkers. Okay, and you said, I decided to make the last drop shorter than the first. I don't know if it feels like it's out of place. I think it sounds fine. I think it sounds great. This whole thing sounds great. I just had 2 notes I think could make it better. Your sub is too saturated. A lot of the overtones are a bit too loud. And it sounds like the sub is just clipping too much, so it sounds like it's a mistake. And it just doesn't sound that clean when you have like the harmonics rolling off that way. There is, when it comes to like subs and the overtones, the most common pattern you'll see like a sub is like soft saturation, the way it rounds off. It's kind of hard to put into words, but okay, so thinking of like distortion, that would be like your first, your third, your fifth, your seventh, your ninth. All the odd harmonics are usually coming out of distortion, right? Or saturation or anything. When you distort something into, or when you sort of song into like some saturation plugin, it usually has like a mathematical formula with how quickly the harmonics roll off. So if you put something in like a soft saturator, for example, if it's like a smooth curve that you're pushing it into, like a really soft knee. That's what soft saturation means. You're going to have a perfectly rounded off harmonic sequence. So your first harmonic would be at, say, 100% volume. Your second harmonic would be at 50% volume. Your third harmonic is going to be at 25% volume, and then your fifth one or whatever is going to be like half of that. So it's like there's a mathematical sequence always whenever you just put something through distortion. And so whenever you do that, it's just going to sound like it is simply clipping, and it's going to sound a lot of times like a mistake. So you're gonna have to do some kind of magic to make it seem like the bass is more clean, because you're always gonna have the same mathematical dispersion of harmonic volume. Like always, it's always gonna be rounded off in some way, and that's why all sub basses sound the same. And I think it shouldn't be like that. Your fundamentals should be usually louder than when it's distorted like that. So you could simply just get the same harmonics you have by inputting them manually in Serum in the Wavetable editor thing, or you could just boost the sub more, or have the kid sub that's just the same phase aligned and everything. You could do that, but it usually just sounds like a mistake. Like, people are way more impressed when you have a sub that doesn't have the same exact harmonic sequence or harmonic fall off. I should do a video on that, or like a short thing, because it's a really interesting concept, and people don't really understand it, but it's something I notice a lot. The other comment I had is the basses could be wider. I think your basses being front and center are really good for, you know, like a dry mix, and it makes it easier for people to do doubles and all that stuff when they DJ. But I think they just could be wider. So, like, simply put, they could be wider for more intensity in the stereo field. That's really all. But thank you for submitting. Huge dub. All right, we got Aragon. Aragon. Like the president. Oh, I like this so far. That was a sick intro. I like that. Beautiful. Oh, and the cellos, the strings come in. No way. You might just be a madman. Honestly, I think the sub could just not be here at all. Those chords are really bright. That was really nice. Oh my god. Oh! Yeah, that was sick. A little bit of jazz in there. Bro. He got a guitar. A little guitar solo. That's crazy. Melodically, that was great. I think everything fit really, really nicely. Mixing stuff, which is what you were asking for. As for mixing and mastering advice, well, thank you. Okay, so I said it already, but the sub and the build up, I think could just go. Like, I think you could just keep it, the bass in there filtered, and you would still have the same energy, but you would make the drop, it would just make the drop more impactful and just hit harder. Like right here, like you totally don't need the sub in there at all. And like your basses don't need to even open up this much. Like you can leave them pretty filtered and maybe at most like go up to 10k hertz with a low pass, but probably not any more than that, because then like the drop actually hits and then you have the really bright textures and everything comes together. So it just makes it feel really crazy. So your kick is dominating the mix right now. Your kick is doing a lot of the work. Your sidechain is also really loud. Or what am I even saying? Loud sidechain. Hello, really long. Sidechain is really long, and so it makes it really pumping. Like, I think you could make the sidechain a bit easier on everything else. Like, it doesn't need to be that harsh of a sidechain. You can smooth it out a little bit, make it a little snappier. Your chords are really, really noisy, but in hindsight, it kind of fits the volume of the kick more. And I've kind of noticed that the bass ARP that you have in the low end is the quiet thing. So the bass ARP should be turned up. Because listen to this. Listen to the loudness of your chords and then the bass. Like your bass is really quiet. Like your chords are more on par with where your kick is volume-wise. So try to get them all around the same loudness. If you have a bus for the bass and a bus for the chords, try to make them have the perceived loudness, if that makes sense. You could even like pull up like an LUFS meter and look at the short-term LUFS on both the chords and the bass and see how close you can get them. I think innately though the chords are always going to be louder simply because chords are more made up of high harmonic material. So like when you use LUFS, it's more sensitive to high end. But as long as they seem the same loudness, it should be fine. And you just use your ears for that. Make sure like the same loudness. You should definitely have the same loudness because the chords are way too bright and way too harsh. I think you could just simply turn down the highs on the chords and just turn up the bass, and I think it would just be a way better mix. I think the thing you're worried about is the bass. does not have a lot of movement. It is a very static bass going up and down notes. I think what could help with it being so noisy and not being so overbearing is if you add a envelope onto it. So just a really short envelope, and you could add a low pass or something on it so it's more plucky sounding. And it could be really subtle. It could just be like, you know, it cuts off just a little bit of high end. So you kind of have that more plucky sound, but it's not taking out all of the energy from the bass, if that makes sense. I think it'll just help you like entirely. You could even do a macro. Like you could have some sections be more plucky and then other sections could be more sustained. You could just have a macro that does that. I think that would just help. Assuming that you know how to like set that up without like making it sound weird, but you could do that. But yeah, thank you for submitting. It was a really cool song. I like it. Very nice. Thank you for submitting. And check out my Patreon stuff. Yeah, I need to like say that more. I need to tell people to check it out, because at the end of the stream I'm like, hey guys, check my Patreon, and then there's like 3 people watching still. Thank you for submitting. I'm so confused. Oh. What? Why does it say Skrillex here? Okay. What? Wait. What was that? Okay, it just fades out. Okay. All right. You wanted feedback on mastering and sound design. Okay. Some of the stuff I said are just mixing, but you can look at the notes here. I think the vocals are too mono. The snare's too loud in the intro. For mastering is really quiet, I think, actually, which is crazy. I never thought I would say this. But everything sounds like it could be pushed like a lot more. It doesn't mean that it should be distorting, but the energy is just not there. Like it sounds like everything's really quiet, and it's just not impactful. There's someone I think you should kind of compare yourself to, since they do like trap stuff as well. This artist Kamekon is really good at mixing and mastering. I think he's more on the more like the louder side of mastering. Like they kind of push things a little too much. but you should check them out and try to aim for something that is almost to this level, but not this loud. You can hear how full that is. Something else. Something as full as this would be nice. This was like the best one. But yeah, getting your mix closer to that sound, I think, would be the ideal mix sound. I think your sound design's okay. Your sounds are really, really clean. Which everything in this sounds like clean, but not impactful. I think you could take your 808s and the top layers and saturate them together a little bit. So that way you have some crunchiness and they feel more glued together. But nonetheless, pretty good. Better to not be overly distorted in the master than have a big fat sausage of a song. So thank you for submitting. And last one for the day, we're looking at, okay, well, it's removed, so, oh well. If you're here, just resubmit. Otherwise, I'm going to end the stream. But, awkward alert. Yeah, you should definitely check out Kamacon though, for mixing stuff. Oh my gosh, these are so old. Okay, you submitted it again. There we go. Okay, last one.
You want the smoke, 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 smoke. You want the smoke, 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 smoke. Put 'em up, 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 put 'em up.
Nice.
You want the smoke, 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 smoke. Put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up,
Nice. That was pretty cool.
You want the smoke, you want the smoke.
Submissions are closed right now, so you can submit next week once I'm live. Okay, so my notes for this, I like your A-B sections, like the bong and then the little. I think those are really cool sections you have. It's kind of like a call and response, but a lot longer of a call and response. So the rim shot in this B section, I think, could just be louder because it's pretty quiet. And your snare here, I think the snare could just be swapped out. I think a much shorter, non-splashy snare that's higher pitch would sound better. Like a short ping or like a kind of like a chop snare, I guess, would sound better. Lex Luger snare style. Maybe tonal, maybe. You'll have to go shopping around and find a snare that sounds good. Your mixing's pretty good. I think your kick is a little distorted. So turn that down a little bit, or you could swap it out even too. If it's like distorting in the sample. This intro I think is just uninteresting. Like this is the most skippable intro ever. Like why would I listen to this part? Why listen to this part when I can go here? So I think you should just cut the intro and make it shorter. I don't even know what I said last week. Am I saying the same thing I said last week, or is it that different? Who knows? Anyways, I think that is it for today. So thank you everybody for watching. Check out my Patreon stuff. I released a new pack, and I also did a project breakdown of my song Abaddon. So check that out. It's really sick. Very fun. It's like a 45-minute video of me showing my project and everything, and like my little secrets. Not my little secrets, but yeah. I do this next week, 5 p.m. EST Wednesday. I do it every week. And Saturdays I also do like production videos and stuff. So if you guys want to check it out, go ahead and look at it and make some suggestions on what you want me to do. I do sound design requests. If you hear a cool sound in a song, I can remake it, and I will give you the preset. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.